weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in Shu. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. Only two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. The distinction between the past, present and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Before God we are all equally wise, and equally foolish. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. The only source of knowledge is experience. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy? Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. When the solution is simple, God is answering. Force always attracts men of low morality. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. Information is not knowledge. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour, and it seems like a minute. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. I think and think for months and years. 99 times. The conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason mastery demands all of a person. Love is a better teacher than duty. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them. Nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced. There is no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. All religions, arts and sciences are branches of the same tree. The deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive. Whoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. The environment is everything that isn't me. I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. The only real valuable thing is intuition. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. Confusion of goals and perfection of means seems, in my opinion, to characterize our age. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Never do anything against conscience even if the state demands it. I am not only a pacifist but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created. We still do not know 1,000th of 1% of what nature has revealed to us. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Albert Einstein: an empty stomach is not a good political advisor. Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid. He who joyfully marches to music in rank and file has already earned my contempt. He has been given a large brain by mistake, since for him the spinal cord would suffice. God does not play dice. Albert Einstein: the only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. True religion is real living, living with all one's soul, with all one's goodness and righteousness. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there's no risk of accident for someone who's dead. True art is characterized by an irresistible urge in the creative artist. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. The devil has put a penalty on all things we enjoy in life. Either we suffer in health or we suffer in soul or we get fat. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must above all be a sheep oneself. I want to know all God's thoughts. All the rest are just details. I do not believe that civilization will be wiped out in a war fought with the atomic bomb. Perhaps 2/3 of the people of the earth will be killed. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. The road to perdition has ever been accompanied by lip service to an ideal. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge but can never prove how it got there. God always takes the simplest way. The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. The man of science is a poor philosopher. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. Occurrences in this domain are beyond the reach of exact prediction because of a variety of factors in operation, not because of any lack of order in nature. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple, and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. There could be no fairer destiny for any physical theory than that it should point the way to a more comprehensive theory in which it lives on as a limiting case. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Isn't it strange that I, who have written only unpopular books, should be such a popular fellow? All these primary impulses, not easily described in words, are the springs of man's actions. Never lose a holy curiosity. Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. I love to travel, but hate to arrive. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. We should take care not to make the intellect our goal. It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. I do not believe in the God of theology who rewards good and punishes evil. Mozart's music is so pure and beautiful that I see it as a reflection of the inner beauty of the universe. As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue. The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem. It has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. It gives me great pleasure indeed to see the stubbornness of an incorrigible nonconformist warmly acclaimed. It is only to the individual that a soul is given. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. The faster you go, the shorter you are. The attempt to combine wisdom and power has only rarely been successful, and then only for a short while. The grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion. It stands to the everlasting credit of science that by acting on the human mind, it has overcome man's insecurity before himself and before nature.